What's up, everybody? Welcome to another reading with the Crown Priestess. Let's see what spirit got going on. Okay. I just heard another one bites the dust. I don't know. Some of you could be. Some of you could be like canceling people out. Or these people are canceling themselves out. They fade into black. You could feel like they're dropping like flies. Like there's, man, that's big at the end of the year usually. Clearing the energy out. A lot of relationships fall into the wayside, fade into black, or just abruptly ending. I don't really get this as ending like tragically though, it doesn't end or catastrophically. Now for some of y'all this is not for most of y'all this is not romantic at all. Actually, this is just this could be a friend or a family member, just anybody that you have dealt with for some time, or here's the thing, people will, and I don't know what the fuck is wrong with us. Like literally, a human, when I say that, people will push and test boundaries on purpose, and I don't mean that, well, obviously, yes, some people are physically they overdo things that make you uncomfortable visibly, verbally, whatever. But I feel like this is something where you could have been explaining to somebody several times, more than once. You explained to someone how they were hurting you, or how, a certain behavior made you feel, or a certain ideology made you feel, or something. And while it's okay, right, because, man, first of all, we don't have to all agree on the same things, right? But it's like at work or at school, there's a reason behind why it's against the rules to speak on politics or religion. You understand? In those places. Because people are passionate about their shit. People believe in what they believe in, and they're entitled to do so. But there's a reason why we don't discuss these things in these places. So this could be something where I'm using that as the example. You explain to somebody why this is not up for discussion, right? This could be somebody who's nosy as fuck too, who just be all up in your business or saying shit that they just not supposed to be saying, and you've addressed it yo, and I feel like you addressed it respectfully on more than one occasion. But the thing is, if I'm constantly telling somebody that I care about, this is bothering me, this hurts me, stop talking about this, I don't want to talk about this, this is not aligned with my moral compass. And this is what it boils down to as you get older. And as a spiritualist, as a priestess, I'm learning and accepting wholeheartedly that this is a big thing for me. If our moral compass doesn't look similar, our values don't look similar, you're not for me. Even if you once were. Even if I love you, even if I care about you, we don't believe in the same things. We don't stand for the same things. And that does become an issue as you grow up and you go into the world. You want like minds around you. Not always, right? You have to be able to learn and take perspective from other people. But when people are just, disregarding or disrespecting now how you feel about something, it's with intent, especially if you've already mentioned this. If you've already said this and it keeps coming up, you know, you're trying to reinforce this again and again. You may even, because I do this, I'll give you your own medicine back now. Like, now I've said it too much, so now I'm going to entertain at your stupid ass level, right? At your childish level, we're going to go do that for a second. But that won't even work, you know? Or you just realize, actually, I don't even know why I stooped to this. That's me clocking back in. You know what? It doesn't matter. Nothing is breaking through. Nothing is breaking through. It's not going to change. This is that, and it's going to be that forever, moving forward. You know, as a spiritual woman, I respect divine order, and I understand when God is moving me out of a chapter. I understand when God is moving me forward, and that can be the position that you're in. You can be in a position where you're like, you know what? It's no love lost because you didn't lose anything. You know, you didn't. You've already, and you can maybe still appreciate this for what it is. Again, still care for it for what it is. But this is not going to happen at the same table anymore. This is not going to happen in the same rooms anymore. You understand? Because the values don't align. It's like getting married, right? This is why most people end up hating their marriages, is because they end up with people whose moral compass does not align with theirs. If I have integrity and you have none, we are not going to work, because you're going to be able to do things and move in ways that, unbeknownst to you, are bad. You know, for my morality, to me, it's like you just stole somebody's shit, you shoplifting, or whatever the fuck is going on. You know what I mean? Little things. It might start small, but then you see the grander scale of things and you're like, nah, I can't move like this. You know, and it's an old saying, and while it has its flaws, I understand why my grandmother used to tell me when I was very young, show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are. Because the moral of the story is, we may have differences. Maybe I don't like doing the things that you do, but if I turn a blind eye to it, I'm just as guilty. You know, that's like, it's like the men who, or women, but mostly men, who will see their mans, you know, fucking on a minor, or, you know, like, do it, you know, beating on their girl, or whatever it is, like, you're just dogging out a woman, and it's like, oh, I don't move like that, but you're not telling him about himself. You ain't shit either. You understand? Like, it is what it, oh, you chilling with this guy every day. You know what I mean? Like, these are the people you affiliate with. How I'm supposed to look at you? You got to make it make sense. You understand? Because, and men will, you know, they'll say it to women all the time, like, oh, you chilling with them hoe ass bitches and da 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 da, and judge that and write off a whole fucking book on that. But you will literally be hanging out with rapists, killers, all the things that you're not, but because you're not doing it, and you can sit there and be a witness, but it ain't mean so. What's good, my boy? Like, no, like, it just, me personally, I can't. To each their own. If this is what you want, if this is what you like, if this is what you're into, that's fine. I'm not going to judge you for that out loud, but I can't do it. You know what I mean? I can't do it, because the point is, this is why I left my last one. You know, romantic, because whatever. You feel like you can just say whatever you want to say, and while you can, why the fuck would I be affiliated? You're embarrassing. My reputation? Absolutely not. So, you know what? We can't associate. We cannot. And that goes for anybody. I don't care if we're romantically involved. I don't care if we're friends. I don't care if we're colleagues. I don't care if you're my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, my cousin, my fucking dog. If we don't align in morality and in core values, I can't be seen with you. And that's just that. So that message is for somebody. That message is for a lot of people. Shit, the message is for me. So many. Like, I mean, the last 2-3 years, I've lost a lot of people. But again, I don't feel like it's lost, you know. And it, again, love down. I don't harbor resentment or hate or anything for anybody. You just got to learn. I've learned, like so many people do not, when it's time to move on. I just know when it's time to leave the chat. I know when it's time to leave the job, the room, the relationship, the friendship. And it's like people will push your boundaries, like I said, because I've had people try to squeeze their way, ease their way back in one shape or form because I have compassion. But you know what that lets me know? That lets me know, once again, you don't respect my boundaries. You don't respect me at all. You expect for me to receive you with kindness. You expect for me to take you back with open arms, regardless to what you've done or how you've performed or what words were exchanged. And enough of that. And I feel like that's where y'all are. It's like, enough of that. I'm not going to allow people to abuse my compassion anymore, because that's what it boils down to. This is why, you know, and it's why people stay way past the shelf life on something. You know, the expiration date was a year ago, 2 years ago. You know what I mean? And you still sitting here and you wondering why you got this bad feeling. It's because the food is rotten. You understand? The food done spoiled and you still eating out of that jar. Like, and like I said, this doesn't always have to be some ridiculous thing. There goes the compassion. I can't, if I make this shit up, that's 5 of presents on the bottom, by the way. So being left out, you know, left out in the cold, whatever. But Queen of Potions, my compassion queen, with the Fool and the King of Needles. This is head over heart. Do you see that Jack is walking towards Dr. Finkelstein? He's walking towards logic, practicality, less of emotion, right? Like, and more towards, this don't make any sense. It just doesn't. I need to separate my heart from my head for a second. That's what this is giving. All right, Aries energy, very strong. But that it's walking into a new chapter, walking into something that just makes sense, you know, because we can love a lot of things. It doesn't mean that it's not, you know, going to be challenging or that it's good for us even. You know what I mean? Like, a parent can love their child, but if their child is a menace to society, that nigga belongs in jail. Period. I may not want to see, you know, my loved one locked away, but you are out here committing crimes, heinous fucking crimes. You belong behind bars. You don't deserve access to freedom. You don't deserve access to innocent people because you're a fucking menace to society. You understand that? So whoever's been menacing your ass, you may have had a lot of love for this person. Aries energy strong as fuck, because that Emperor was sitting there and I didn't notice. I just flipped it over. You cared about this person, but the way that they were controlling the narrative started to become a problem for you. So much so that you pulled your heart out of it. And when this is what happens, and I advise everyone listening to this to do this. Pull your heart out of a scenario for 2 fucking minutes and tell yourself, ask yourself, if I didn't love this person, would I like them? If I didn't feel responsible for this person, what qualities do they actually possess that align with me, that are beneficial to me, morally speaking, right? Because that's another thing. You'd be beneficial to niggas, right? And vice versa. Everybody has something to offer. And I'm grateful for all the people that I'm no longer affiliated with or won't be, as the future tells it. Because at one point, they served a purpose for me. They made me feel laughter. They were generous with me, very generous with me. They, they defended me. Like they were people who stood up for me, in moments when I couldn't stand up for myself, maybe. They weren't just horrible people. I want to put that out there, that some people are fucking terrible, but a lot of people that I've checked out of, they're not bad people, but we just, as I evolve, they don't. Or we evolve into separate lanes. I still want to see you win, but you over there. You took a left and I took a right. There's no way in hell we're going to end up in the same place. You know what I mean? So when what Spirit is encouraging here, for those of you who are maybe thinking about this but not there yet, is that you need to remove your heart, remove your compassion, if people didn't think you were soft as fuck, because that's what it boils down to. I think that people for a very long time, believe it or not, looked at me and saw soft. It may not look like that on my forehead, but the truth is, if you do get to know me, I'm very sweet. I'm very kind. And what I learned is that I was doing that for too many people. And too many people who weren't deserving of that kindness, because almost immediately they used it to their advantage. They abused it. Somebody who's been abusing you is going to learn what it feels like to not have access to you anymore. And this can be karma for them, not just on your behalf, but maybe this is something they were doing to people. Maybe they've left people behind, rightfully so, because I don't jack this no more. And it's simple as that. I don't fuck with this. This ain't for me. I don't like how these bitches is moving. I don't like what these niggas is doing on the weekends. I don't like it. So I'm out of here. Love down. It is what it is. But that's it. Oh yeah. Some of you are on this brink. This person gives you a hard time for this too. They give you a hard time. This is like somebody blocking the door. That's how I see it. Shuffled and it's still there. It's like somebody blocking the doorway. Like, nah, you can't go. What you mean you can't go? And why? Why can't I leave? Because you're not ready for me to leave? You understand the selfishness? Like, that alone is what lets you know how much people are in it for themselves. Because if I love someone, if I care for someone, I'm going to give them the space that they need. You need space right now? Cool. If you need space forever, cool. Learn to detach, okay? King of Needles, he is detached from this. He only uses this. He's stoic as fuck. You understand? Like, he doesn't have time to dwell in emotion and, this and that. It's none of that. Like, lock in. Exactly. Because if you don't, look at the burden. 10 of Candles is burden. It's just, you're going to keep carrying weights that you don't need to carry, that is not necessary. It is not necessary. You can't bring everything with you, right? On the traditional 10 of Swords, that man is carrying all these sticks. He got all this work trying to take these sticks up a damn hill somewhere to maybe build a house but you can't, everything can't be done in one trip. That's number one. And number two, you can't take everything with you. If there's an emergency right now, God forbid, everything goes up in smoke in your home, are you going to be able to take everything? Are you going to try to take everything? You're not. You're going to grab the first thing that comes to mind. That's the most important thing, and you out. Let me tell you right now, only shit I'm grabbing is my son. Animals are instinctual. That door will be open and they'll run right the fuck out after me because they ain't dealing with that shit either. You understand? Only thing I'm grabbing is my kid. Maybe a safe, because important documents. But if I can't get to the safe, oh well. The only thing I'm concerned with getting to is my kid. Everything else is replaceable. So this is how you have to treat people. Unfortunately so. And I get it. Somebody's going to say, oh, people are not replaceable. Not everybody's replaceable. I know that because I just explained that about my son. But connections with adults, walks of life, family, friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, doesn't matter. These are walks of life. These are chapters. And not everybody is going to be a main character in every chapter. Could you imagine how boring movies or TV would be if we saw every time the same exact people through the entire... Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't want to look at the same nigga the whole 8 series, even if he's the protagonist. We need to see other people come in and go. We need to see challenges. We need to see it. We need to see the character development. That's what people are for. That's what connections are for. They're for character development. And not everybody is meant to see you at the boss level. I'm done yapping because I feel like that was the message here. Let me see. Advice and you're done. Yeah. It's not helping you. 10 of Swords. Magician at the bottom. You know what the fuck you gotta do. You've learned all you can learn here. Especially if you've learned betrayal. Somebody who, again, preyed on your weakness, your compassion, your kindness. Somebody who just chose to ignore the conversations you're giving them. Somebody whose moral compass does not align with yours. Somebody who looks at your values and feels like, girl, whatever. Or finds whatever way to fight that. It's going to continue. Because you and this person, you aren't alike. Even if you once were, you're not anymore. The evolution has taken toll. And some people elevate, some people descend, right? Some people ascend, some people descend, some people stay plateaued. Moral of the story is you're no longer on the same level. Take that how it resonates. Love, light, and abundance.